All right, good morning and welcome back to Twin Stick Garage. Man, does it ever smell like a body shop in here? Been working hard on the Duke, trying to get those frame rails sanded down. A little fresh in here too. Let's turn this up. There, that'll do it. So as you can see, it's getting there. Still needs a lot of work, but one step at a time, right? Little by little. So on today's episode, what I was planning on doing was doing some more work on Snowman. I was thinking about it, and since I've got all these active projects going on at the same time, I kind of need to do things, well, not necessarily in order, but certain things need to come before other things. So I need this stall. I need it for two reasons. I need it for the tandems that are going to go on underneath the back of the trailer, and I need the space to work on the ThermoKing reefer, which is hiding back over there for the front of the Snowman trailer. So I actually need to get Snowman out of here, and I really don't want to put Snowman out in the snow. So what I might do is try and figure out a way to shoehorn it into my old garage on the house there. But in order to do that, I need to get this truck back on the road running and driving, and there's a few things in order to get there that I need to do. First up is I need to put those shorter, smooth snorkel tubes on there. And then the next one is a friend of mine, Kevin, who's an electrician, was watching me do the wiring here. And when I hit the starter button, if you pause it just right, you can actually see this wire just stand up. And he's like, yeah, Mark, I need to I need to give you some advice there. So he said, go to Princess Auto and get some nice thick welding cable and wire that properly with some proper gauge wire. So we'll get that set up. I got a 24 volt starter switch. What else? I need to, if you remember when I went on the last drive there before winter hit, this thing was just, the input seal shot here and it was just spraying oil everywhere. You can see remnants there. So I need to get the drive shaft off, pull that yoke, and I head over to Pat's drive line and get a new seal for that. And yeah, probably a bunch of other things that I'm not thinking of, but like I always say, I'll just get at it, try and build some momentum, and see how far I get. Yeah. Look at that dust just roll off the hood. Yeah, I guess that's one of the challenges when you do body work in the same open area as your finished truck is sitting, but that's no big deal. That stuff will wash off of there. So, like I say, first up, got to try and get these snorkel tubes on there. Now, these are slightly different than the ones that were on there. So as you can see, these ones had the support ribs, and I had a hell of a time trying to find 6-inch ID intake hoses that didn't have those bumps on there to match the movie. So of course these ones are a lot shorter, so I'm gonna have to see if this is gonna work. What I might have to do is slash cut the pipe, which I've actually got over there. I'll go grab them. So this one, I actually, in my spare time, I powder coated it because it was small enough to put in the oven. But unfortunately that one wasn't, so I just painted that one. I need a bigger oven. So yeah, like I was saying, well, this might work. I guess it's only one way to tell. Start mocking it up on the truck. Oh man, I do not want to do that again. That's why I put the bands on there, because I didn't want it to pop off. So at least that's done, and I think it'll work. Man, I go through a lot of trouble to make stuff movie correct. And now, it's got this little rib on here, so I might even try and grind that smooth. Should have left well enough alone. There. Huh. The lengths I go through for movie correctness. Okay, so as I was working on this side, I stepped on this because it's such a convenient platform, but I must have actually stepped on the hose, so it started dripping. So I thought, okay, no big deal. I'll just cut it off and redo it. So while I was repairing that, then it started leaking. I was moving this hose and it started leaking farther up. So I took a look there. I don't know if you can see, but this hose is badly cracked, likely from taking all the heat from the turbo here. So I thought, well, I might as well just drain the coolant because I still haven't hooked up the lines for the heater core in the bunk. So if all the coolant's out of there, that'll make that easier. And then I remembered a while back that I came into the shop one day and there was a bunch of coolant sitting just pooled on the head, and I was like, oh man, did I blow a head gasket or what the heck happened here? But I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And then I noticed this. Look at that, it's sweating out of there. So it'll be a good excuse to swap out the heater hoses. So I'll head over to Greenline. I mean, who knows how old these are. Buy some new hose and then fix that leak and fix that leak. So it's funny how you start working on one thing and then the old truck will just steer in another direction. There. How's that for movie correct? All right, before I get going on something unfun like coolant lines, I thought I'm going to do one more thing to make this movie correct. So I had to hunt around quite a lot for these because it was hard to find ones, again, that would match the movie and that were just plain black. So these are the front mud flaps. I'll go in there, something like that. Yeah, that'll look good. And the reason I went with plain black is because, of course, it matches the movie. Then it also matches the plain black old school flaps that are on the back of the truck. Yeah, that should work good. So I'll mark those out, drill them, and bolt them in place. Sweet. A little more movie correct for you. Okay, Mark, let's get going on those coolant lines. Now, I figured since the coolant's drained, it'd be a good time to replace these little short pieces of hose. Okay, there we go. Man, these guys are sure on here. But it'll also give me the opportunity to paint this little piece of pipe as well. Yeah, I don't see any cracking, but it looks like it's deteriorating, a little bit of oil in there. It's always good on these old trucks, especially if you don't know how old the rubber lines are. It's always good to just err on the safe side. And when I did the Peterbilt there, I think I spent a total of, it might have been $100 on hose. It wasn't that bad actually, because you just need short sections of it. There's a couple more pieces, so I'll just get whatever. Well, I'll put all the pieces together, but I probably only need 4 or 5 feet of this diameter to redo all these little ends. So this is the, obviously this is the air compressor. And since it's a piston driven deal here that comes off the gear drive on the front of the motor that's running this piston up and down, which is creating air pressure, which fills your air tanks. It gets hot, so it needs to be liquid cooled. So it steals a little coolant from the engine and cycles it through there. Okay, well, on to the next one. Okay, so spot this. I started taking this line off here, and as soon as I started turning it, it just totally self-destructed. So that one wasn't long for this world. Stuff just gets cooked over time, right? That's why it's always a good idea to replace this stuff. Better to do it here in the garage than out on the highway with 15 gallons of coolant laying on the, oh, that's not good, laying on the ground. Another good idea is to buy new shut-off valves, because this one still seems to work. This one seems seized. I can't seem to turn it. So I'm going to wrench those guys out of there, because it never hurts to have new valves. And that's darn near it. This is the line I think that goes down to the, well, I got to get rid of this one. This is the heater core. And then that bottom one goes down to the bunk. And then I gotta try and get this out of here and get a new one of those. And then off the green line. Yeah, the deeper you go, the more you find. So I was checking this out. This is the control valve. So when you hit hot and cold, the slider on the dash there, it moves this cable in and out. And then it should spin this guy. But this is just seized, so you can see it's seized closed. So this wasn't gonna get any heat come winter time, so we'll get a new one of these since we're in here. Okay, so next up I'm trying to collect up all the pieces. So this is the line that goes from the engine and the heater core back to the bunk heater core and back. So it's 10 feet there and 10 feet back. So I just cut a piece of it and marked 20 feet on there. There's no point taking the whole hose in. And I got that one, I got these little short ones, the fittings, the two shut-off valves. Now these elbows, these are a little unique. I remember I had to order this for the Peterbilt, because if you just get regular line, this comes out of the heater core and then drops down. It's especially got that bend in there, because if you just get regular line, what can happen is when you make that bend, it'll just close off the hose. So I think that's a special piece from Kenworth, but that's okay, because we got to go there to get one of these too. And what else do we got? Another little piece of hose. Let's take that off of there. Get it up. There we go. Move the pipe. That's just the pipe at the top. Yeah, that's getting pretty rough, so we'll get some of that. And one of those. And a pile of hose clamps. Okay. So we should pick that stuff up, and then should be able to put this all back together and throw the coolant back in it. Okay, before I go running off to spend some more money, I gotta take the input seal out of here, just make sure I get the right one. I like how I got everyone cool. been reading comments, oh, must be so nice to have the Snowman truck done. No, these trucks are never done. They just get into different states of drivability. Oh man. Oh, so talk about timing. So UPS just dropped this off and it was heavy as hell, and I opened it up and I thought, well, Vevor, good company. And then would you look at that? A full set of 3/4 inch drive impact sockets. I have been needing this for so long because I've got a 3/4 inch drive Milwaukee impact, and I've been using reducers and breaking them off when I was busting bolts on the Duke. And then I was trying to think, well, I never ordered this. And then I went, you know what? A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, said that he was going to send me something. And I can't believe that he sent me this. Wow, you are a class act, sir.
Thank you, Mr. B. I don't know how to thank you.
Boy, the timing could have been more perfect on this. Because I did have a reducer to run a 3/8 drive, but no, wait, I actually broke it off the last time I used the Tiger tool, trying to remove the U-joints on the Duke. So it's perfect timing. The other reason it's perfect timing of Pig sending me that is because the input, the nut there, I don't believe I have the right socket. I think I had a 12-point chrome socket that I bought off Princess Auto way back in the day when I replaced these U-joints. But now I got the proper ones, so thanks again, Peg. Man, that's awesome of you. Oops, wrong way, man. They shouldn't be in there that bad. I just put them in myself. Come on. There it goes. Is that enough to get that out of there? Yeah, it should be. There we go. Okay, what size is that? Let's try this one. 1 13/16. Cozy. There. Okay. Oh, beauty. Thanks again, Peg. There it goes. Now I'm pretty sure you're actually supposed to get a new nut every time you change this. I don't know if it has Loctite on there, and I think the threads are they're squeezed in or something to try and keep this thing from backing off. Okay. Some little critter was setting up shop in there. Now, there's my leaky seal. Try and pry it out of there, I guess. There it goes. Holy cow. Okay, get a new one of those, bang it in there, and use that minty peg socket to zap it back on. Perfect. All right, so next, oh hey Fred. So next what I wanted to do is pull the heater core. I mean, again, I'm kind of going down a spiral here, but since the coolant's drained and the lines are off, why not take the heater core out of there? Because it's probably jam full of dirt and dust and mouse nests and whatever else. So get that cover plate off and see how hard. I think it should just slide right out of there. I hope. Let's find out. Okay, so this first one here is, I guess you wouldn't call it a heater core. It's probably a AC coil, I guess, air conditioning coil. And it circulates the coolant. It's probably Freon back in the day. And it circulates the compressor on the engine, pumps it around. And you got the condenser on the roof that's actually releasing all the heat. And so you got cold media flowing through these lines here. So it pulls air from outside, the fan motor's behind here. And it pulls air through, and you'll have, this will obviously be your cold one. So it's making the air cold and circulates cold air through the cab. Now I'm gonna leave that one in place because you gotta disconnect all the AC lines. And I'm still debating on what I'm gonna do with the AC. I guess eventually I'll probably try and get it functional again. But for now, I'm gonna leave that one in place, and I'm just gonna pull the heater core. So this one actually circulates hot coolant through. So again, as the fan pulls air through in the wintertime, it warms the air up, and then you have warm air circulating around the cab. So I'll pull that one now. Oh, there it goes. Oh, that's lovely. That's good hantavirus. All right, I'm glad I pulled that. So we'll go and wash that up and blow it out, and we should be good to go. Gross. All right, so I like to think I get smarter as I go. And unlike the last time I washed out a heater core, that one that I took out of the peat in the laundry sink, which I took a little heat for, I figured I'd instead use a 5-gallon pail and just wash this thing out here. So all I did was put a little bit of soap in there and some toilet bowl cleaner, and just giving this thing a stir here. But look at that, it's already looking pretty fresh. All right, so what I'll probably do now is just let this thing soak, and then pull it out and blow it out. And I guess with that, I think I'm at the bottom of the curve here. So I need to go off and go buy some parts. So I guess I'm gonna park this project for now and go off and spend some money.
I'll be back.
What?